Hello, here we are on the front porch on a uncharacteristically cool morning in April here in San Antonio, and I wanted to sit out here, have a pipe and a little coffee, and visit with you about one of my favorite detective series, and it's a modern series that's set in the period right after uh, World War One. I just moved Mr. Ficus outside. He's the bane of my wife's existence in the house, so he's keeping me company here. But the first thing I wanted to do is go over the pipe that I wanted to present for today. This is a Savinelli. It's a 2614, but now they're known as the 614. This is the one I'll be smoking. This is a really nice sandblast, but I have it in all three of the finishes that were available in the late 70s, early 80s when these were made. These are actually the dry system pipes that are the Savinelli, kind of the Savinelli homology to Peterson's dry system. There's some differences though in here. I might be able to. So this one has the Savinelli balsa filter, nice little filter. And as far as filtered pipes go, the smoke doesn't pass through this; it passes around it. And I really don't mind these. I don't mind the Brigham rock maple filters. They don't have a funny smell. You can take these out, you can replace them, you can soak these in a little bit of spirits if you want, and it'll clean them up. You can get a few uses out of them. They also have the chamber back here that's not quite reverse calabash level, but it does allow, when the smoke comes in here, it allows some to condense in this little chamber before coming up into the stem. So when this just presses in there, the other big difference is, and all of these are chewed up a little bit, but this one's probably the better looking one. Not chewed up, it's just discolored. Instead of having the single hole like a P-lip has, this one has a wide hole across the top, but it still exits out of the top. So there's a lot of similarities between these and the Peterson's system pipe. Is this a knockoff? I don't know. There's some things that are very different about these. I enjoy these. I like the way that Savinelli's smoke. I particularly like this pipe, and it is. It's fortuitous that we're talking about a book today, or a series of books, because this is my favorite pipe for reading. This shape. I have these three that are the dry system pipes, and I have two others that are not system. They're newer. They're the 614. So if you're interested, it's a Umpal, and as far as just a nice curved pipe, it is a deep curve, or a deep bend. Here I go using weird terminology, but it's an easy smoker. And the best thing about it is when you're reading, you have it down here, it is completely out of your line of sight, right? So when you're, instead of it being up here, it's down low. The other thing I like about it is I can tamp like this while I'm reading. I know that looks weird, but I can use my chest as a when I'm sitting as a backstop to my tamping. I don't know. I like reading with these pipes. If I'm out on the porch reading, I typically have one of these in my mouth. So what I wanted to talk about today is a book series that I find to be one of the most enjoyable book series that I've read in the last few years. you're going to look it up, it's by Charles Todd. And it's a set of 24 novels. They follow a detective named Ian Rutledge, who is a very recently returned World War I veteran. And it deals with a lot of issues with like mental health. In this book, they use the now outdated terminology shell shocked, which we would probably call PTSD now. And in fact, Ian Rutledge came back from the war, and one of the things that he had to do right at the end of the war, right before the war was over, was he was forced into a situation where he had to execute one of his one of the people under him for insubordination. And interestingly enough, that person's name was Hamish. He was a Scottish soldier. And if we follow the Holmes and Watson model, Hamish is still with him. Hamish is someone he sees that nobody else sees, right? So he is he's a person that's not there, but he's constantly there. And he serves kind of as Ian Rutledge's Watson. There's some other really interesting parts to this. Ian Rutledge, because of his wartime experiences, avoids using trains. So he uses a car, and while he's based in London, this set of books is set every book is set in a different place in England. And it's like taking a little tour. They develop characters so well, and it's like I said, it's been one of the best book series that I've read in a while. Now, I said they develop characters very well, and that's another interesting part of this, is the author is Charles Todd. Well, Charles Todd is actually the pen name for a mother and son writing team, whose pen names individually are Charles Todd and Carolyn Todd, whose real names are David Vedgen and Carolyn Vedgen. And they wrote these novels, and they also wrote a series of novels with a heroine named Bess Crawford. I haven't made it through those novels. I've read a couple, and the writing is equally as good, and I do recommend those as well. But these just grab me. There's 24 of these. They start with this one, A Test of Wills. There are a few recurring characters, but you meet brand new characters every single time, and they are just so well developed. And the mystery is usually not something. There's a few of them that I kind of solved myself right before I got to the end, but they're usually very well done. If you're used to reading long series like I am, once in a while, one of especially if you end up with a series of 20 or so, one of them is going to be a real stinker, right? And in some cases, that one has caused me to step away from the series for a while and then come back to it later. There wasn't a stinker in this whole lot. This one was solid. Every single one was great. And the sad part of it is Carolyn Todd, she passed away in 2021, so it looks like the stories are over. Luckily, they're wrapped up pretty well. I don't know about the Bess Crawford novels, but the Ian Rutledge novels actually wrapped up pretty well. So if the son decides to continue writing, I will be elated and read all of those. If not, I'm very happy for the 24 that we ended up with. But the themes in these books are really timely, especially the issues of mental health, and it ties in really nicely. Like I said, one of the best characters in these books is actually his car, because this is the early days of people having automobiles. So him actually having a pretty fast car is kind of a fun idea. There's nothing outlandish. It's very much uh, period uh, accurate, and that's because let's see, because Carolyn Todd actually is a trained historian, or was a trained historian. I probably grabbed one here that doesn't have a really good uh, discussion of the authors, but yeah, this one's, as some of the other ones I should have grabbed, but she's actually a historian, so that's probably why we have a lot of accuracy here. But highly recommend these if you're looking for a historical fiction detective novel, a set that you can sit down. I read these so quickly. They are very easy to read. There's not a lot of cliche writing in these, which sometimes turns me off from series that are, have so many parts to them. But I really miss Ian Rutledge. I really miss these novels. There hasn't been a new one in well over a year, 2 years now, and like I said, you get invested sometimes, and I really got invested in this character, and it's kind of a, I don't know if y'all experience the same thing, but when I finish a series and the character's pretty much gone at that point, I do experience kind of a feeling of loss, right? So luckily the memory, is there in book form. But I highly recommend this. I did. So we talked about pipes. I'm just having a regular my regular morning drip coffee. It's a Costa Rican Arabica medium roast. Very nice morning. I hope you go out and pick up a copy. Test of Wheels is the first one. Read through it. I hope you enjoyed these novels as much as I did. I hope you have time to sit out on your porch with your pet ficus sometime and enjoy these. This is some Kramer's Father Dempsey, which in itself has a really cool story. So the tobacco is a nice English fitting for the morning. Nice little bit of Latakia, some nice creamy notes there, and yeah, this is just a good morning, and I hope you have a great one as well.